before we get started, can we talk about my dog who is sitting back here? Can you see him? He thinks he's a cat and he just perches up there. Let's see if Yep, he's just chilling there. He may come down at some point, we'll see. Anyway, today I have for you brand new books that released in the month of February. So if you were here last month in January, I had a huge list of books. I will tell you, February is not quite as long, but there are some good books. And I will make sure I leave a link to the January books up here or up here. Remember which side it's on, but I will leave a link to the January book list for you. And I'm also gonna say stay tuned for March's new book release because I already have a really long list going and I know I'm gonna add to that. March seems like a really great month for picture books this year. But let's jump into the newly released books from February 2023. The first new release book of February 2023, the first newly released book of 2023 is called Moon's Ramadan. This book really captures the magic and meaning of one of the world's most popular and wonderful celebrations. It shares how children in Egypt, India, Argentina, Dubai, Somalia, New Zealand, and more, how they and their families celebrate this holiday by doing good deeds for others. It really does a great job of blending glimpses of different countries' celebrations with the corresponding phases of the moon. This book really makes this holiday accessible for all students and exciting for them to learn about. And the book also includes really extensive back matter that gives more information on the holiday as well as how it's celebrated. A great new picture book that I think you should read aloud with your students, especially during Ramadan. Now this next one I'm super excited about. This one is called Once Upon a Book by Grace Lynn and Kate Messner. And simply put, it is a modern folktale about the joys of reading. I mean, can it get better than that? Alice loves to imagine herself in the pages of her favorite book. So when one day the flaps open and invite her in, she's swept away to a world of imagination and wonder. She rides camels in the desert, swims with colorful fish under the sea, and floats in outer space and more. But when her imaginative journey comes to an end, she yearns for the place that she loves most of all. I think this would be a wonderful book to share in your classroom, and there are so many students who I know would love to be swept up into their pages of their favorite book, and I think you could start a great class discussion about which book they would choose to jump into and be a part of. Definitely a great read aloud that I think you should add to your collection. This next book is called In Everyday Life, and it's almost a meditation on the many wonders of life. That there is love and loss, hope and joy, wonder and mystery. In this book, you'll celebrate the moments, the feelings, the experiences that all make up this wonderful thing that we call life. And to kind of go along with that one, another new release is called Sometimes It's Nice to Be Alone. And I know we can all connect with that concept, right? This book is a celebration of the joy and comfort that can be found in alone time, but also the joy and comfort that a friend can bring. And in this story, it shares that anyone can become a friend, whether it's a whale or a fish or a horse. That sometimes it's good to be alone, but it's also nice to have a friend around as well. The next book I have is called Brave Little Bird. And this one almost reminds me of the story Drawn Together, in which an older adult befriends a young child and the two of them are brought together and connected in way beyond words. So for example, in Drawn Together, the grandfather and the grandson are connected through their drawings. This one is a connection between music and the special friendship that is created between an old man and a young child. Little Bird and the old man make music together on the piano, and they share their gift with their families, and they become great friends. And then the old man starts to grow tired, and until one day his piano playing stops altogether. Little Bird looks for a way to honor this special man's memory, and she finds out that he's not truly gone, but that he lives on in their music that they've created together. A special book about that bond between different generations and how art, such as music, can connect us. Another book that I have that I think I could have used as a child, this one is called Ari Arranges Everything, and it really empowers young children to let go of control and to embrace that chaos sometimes. I found myself really connected to Ari, and that I like to arrange things just as much as she does in this story. She loves to arrange everything, from blocks to flowers to toys to even produce. Each arrangement seems perfect to her, even though it might not be for everybody. But one day Ari sets out to create the ultimate arrangement at the zoo, and it doesn't quite go as planned. And you'll have to read the book with your class to find out if Ari really finds the secret to arranging everything, or perhaps not arranging everything. Another new release for February 2023 that I think your students will really enjoy. The next book that I have is called Linus, and this book is about being yourself and inspiring change in others. Linus doesn't quite fit into the rigid confines of his world, and he learns that that's okay. Linus is trying his very best to stay in line, but everyone else is bent out of shape because he's not quite square enough for them. Linus eventually has enough and decides to run away and find shapes that aren't quite so set in their ways. But what happens when he starts to miss home? Can he convince the others in his town to open up a bit and not feel quite so boxed in? Or are they going to continue to shut him out? You'll have to read this brand new book with your students to find out how it ends. Okay, I have two more great read-alouds to share with you that were released in February 2023. The first one is called Silver Linings. In this story, Pip and Parker are best friends, and they do everything together. And when Pip makes a mistake, Parker is always there to help him see the bright side. But what happens when Parker needs a little encouragement too? This is a great read-aloud about friendship, resilience, overcoming anxiety, and staying positive. This is a great read-aloud to add to your social emotional learning collection, and to read aloud with your students to really encourage them and help them develop empathy. And this last book that I have is called Find Your Brave. This is a sequel to the book Share Some Kindness, Bring Some Light, and we get to hang out with the characters Coco and Bear again in this story. Coco and Bear are super excited to share their special dance at the summer festival, but then Coco loses her brave during dress rehearsal. So Bear tries to help Coco by asking all of their friends, how do you find your brave? And Coco tries each one of these suggestions, but still doesn't feel like she's brave enough to do it, so they decide to drop out of the show. But when Bear gets into trouble all of a sudden, and Coco is able to come to his rescue, she realizes maybe her brave wasn't lost after all. Maybe it was just hiding behind her fear. An important lesson to share with your students, and another great read aloud that was released in February 2023. I hope that this book list of brand new books was helpful for you, and that you'll be able to grab some of these books from your library or even your local bookstore to share as read alouds in your classroom with your students. If the video was helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up and hit that red subscribe button down below, because I'll be back next Sunday night with more great read aloud books and tips for you to use in your classroom right away. Have a great week.